Well, the train trip itself was peaceful up until Johnny wanted to start drinking brown alcohol. He had already started drinking champagne. When I returned from the press tour, that's what he was drinking, wine and champagne. When he wrapped on Pirates 5, the plan was for us to do this honeymoon. I was walking a bit on eggshells because I know a pattern, but I was not wanting to accept that we had gone back to a pattern at all.
So it was the delayed honeymoon for Amber Heard and Johnny Depp aboard the Orient Express. And you know nothing good ever happens on the Orient Express, right? We've seen that movie. Anyhow, take a listen to Amber Heard on direct examination, detailing for the jury what she says happened during the honeymoon on the Orient Express.
And on the last night we were on the train, after this was taken, this photo, Johnny and I got in an argument about him wanting to be allowed, meaning him wanting me to agree to him drinking liquor and being okay with it. And an argument followed that in our sleeping car. Johnny slapped me across the face and held me up by kind of got a hold of my neck and pushed me up against the wall of the cart. It was a small, narrow sleeper cart, and there were two beds, one on each side. He had me up against the wall while he was standing on the floor in between the beds, and I was on the bed, kind of half kneeling, half standing, trying to get his arms off my neck, and he was squeezing my neck against the railway car for what felt like a very long time. And every time he kind of would pull me away from the side of the car, he'd slam me up against the wall. And I remember looking down at him and trying to get his arms off of my neck. And I remember thinking that he could not even mean to kill me. I remember being scared that he wouldn't even mean to do it.
Now, this trip on the Orient Express came up through cross-examination, and it came up through cross-examination because Amber Heard and Johnny Depp had a love journal where one person would get the love journal and write a note to the other, and then the other person would get the journal, they'd read the note, and then they'd write a note back to the other person, okay? So let's listen now to the cross-examination with the use of the love journal.
This is a note from you to Mr. Depp, right?
That is correct.
This is a note you wrote on July 22nd, 2015.
That is correct.
And it starts off with the words, "My husband, happy honeymoon," right?
That's correct.
Ms. Heard, please take a look at Plaintiff's Exhibit 91A at page 67. This is another note from you to Mr. Depp in your journal, right?
That is correct.
And this one is dated August 1st, 2015.
That's correct.
And you write, "That's enough. You've held this book hostage long enough. Although I can't wait to read my note, I also couldn't wait to tell you how much I adore you. What a beautiful, extraordinary, magical, memorable, wonderful, stunning, surprisingly evolving, and impulsive adventure. I couldn't have imagined a more gorgeous honeymoon. I love you more and more every passing day. XX Slim." Did I read that right?
That is correct.
I don't know. Was that the same honeymoon she was describing? Let's bring in our guest, still with us, psychotherapist, host of Talking Live on Facebook Watch and the Bite Side podcast, Dr. Robbie Ludwig. Joining us now, River Edge, New Jersey, family law attorney Janelle Weinstein, and in Orlando, Florida, human behavior expert Susan Constantine. Great to see everyone. Susan, let me start with you. This testimony, she described being attacked on the Orient Express during the honeymoon, And we saw that testimony, we heard that testimony, and then we saw her reacting to that journal entry where she described a wonderful adventure. What are we to make of all this?
Well, again, and you know it's the same thing, Benny, is that there's so much discrepancy in what she's testifying to. She's reading her journal of this wonderful, exciting weekend, and then you turn around and you listen to her testimony, and you're going, the two are incongruent. So are they talking about the same weekend? Because it is confusing. And so what's missing is missing information. We are not getting the full story. And that's what I keep going back to over and over again. We're not getting the full story. We're getting little bits and pieces of it. And she tends to maximize what Johnny does, minimizes her involvement. And when I'm watching her body language, there's so much inconsistency, but there is truth in it. So there are bits and pieces of it, of truth in it, but there's so much woven exaggeration and deception among it in her words, her voice analysis. Remember, we did that just the other night together. And then you watch her behavior, the rapid eye blinking, the hand gestures not in sync with the movement, and then sometimes they are. So I do think that there was some sort of altercation, but I don't believe it happened the way they said it is. And that is the thing we keep going back to. It just didn't happen the way Amber's describing it.
Janelle Weinstein, the way she described it on direct, it's like they should have brought Janelle on the honeymoon, right? As the family law attorney to just, stop it right there on the honeymoon to me. But then she writes about it, and she writes about it in such glowing words. It's like you're impeached by your own love journal.
Exactly right, Vinny. I'm not laughing because it's not funny, but I'm laughing because I'm thinking, if I'm sitting here on the jury and I'm trying to figure all this out like we're doing, and we have this writing from her in close time to when all these terrible things were supposed to happen, I think that has great weight for the jury trying to figure out if she's credible or not. It's done at the same time, not years later. And to me, the jury's going to weigh that heavily. But we have to remember, at the end of the day, this is Johnny Depp having to prove that what she's saying, everything she's saying, is not true. So
right, but just this much, not beyond a reasonable doubt, just this much, Janelle.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And so, I don't know. It's getting in the minds of the jurors. We've done this many, many years over and over again, Vinny, trying to think if we can read these jurors. But I think that this writing is going to have a lot of weight since it was written in such close time to these incidents happening.
Dr. Robbie Ludwig, is a love journal a good idea? And do we tell the truth in our love journals?
It usually is.
Do we tell the truth in our love journals?
Well, I think the question we're all having here is, why is this so confusing? Even the smart people on the jury are going to be like, why am I not getting this? Why is this not making sense? And so usually when that is going on, something is not being told, that there's information that's missing. So for example, did Amber Heard and Johnny Depp have one of those crazy hookups where they get in huge fights that were over the top, and then they would go into a loving cycle? And did this happen often? And now the question is, did the fights happen and were they manageable, or were they truly threatening? And that is where we are all at. And we're all trying to make sense out of, why is Amber describing her story in this extreme way? I thought it was so interesting, Vinny, when you said she was talking about a best friend observing something. And it turned out this best friend is somebody that she actually has no relationship with. I think those kinds of descriptions and the way she kind of just presents things in ways that are simply not true, I think it's going to weigh on the jury at some point, if not already.
Okay, when we come back, we're going to listen to Johnny and Amber recordings. They're recording each other, and we're getting to hear it all. And What does that reveal? What story does that tell? We'll play them for you next.
Your guide to happy plants.
You don't want to sell out or anything. Let's sell you journals. Oh, wait.
Hey.
Hey, you're not what? No, you're not selling
You don't want
out.
to sell out, Magic Mike.
No.
You don't want to sell out.
No one does 21 Jump Street when they're in their 20s. No, you're right. That's not selling out. No. When you're in your 20s, you should really know what you want. Like selling your journals.
If you didn't know who that was.
You're right. Go sell your journals like a real non-sellout. 55-year-old. Or, I'm sorry,
56.
51. I don't know. It doesn't matter at this point.
No.
I don't think so.
It really doesn't.
I don't really think so. But you're right. I mean, hey, at least I didn't do like a TV show where I was heartthrob in my 20s. God, that would be like embarrassing.
Wow.
If only I was with someone in their 50s that could point that out to me. Magic Mike, you're right. When you play a non-sexualized object. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. You're right. You got it all figured out.
You don't even know what movies I've done.
If only I could
You
be
haven't
like,
even taken an interest.
if only I could be like,
but I had to
if
watch
only
your-
I could be like.
I had to watch your direct and you trying to like.
Unbelievable. I mean, they're having this crazy argument about their careers, and I guess Johnny's trying to give her advice. He wants to keep her out of these movies, TV shows. She's making fun of his career. I mean, this is insanity. Jury's hearing all of it. Let's bring back in our guests, Dr. Robbie Ludwig, Janelle Weinstein, Susan Constantine. Susan, what we hear in these recordings, especially this one, which is where they're kind of like going after each other's career choices and what they've done, completely different people, completely different behavior than what we're seeing inside the courtroom.
Yeah, and I think that they kind of feed, on each other's emotions. And it's just, it's a very toxic relationship, obviously. And they just kind of keep biting at each other, biting. And then it starts to escalate, right? But who's the one that's mainly talking? So, and when I'm listening to that, in all the recordings, I hear Amber's voice always louder, more controlling, and more dominating, more sensationalized than Johnny. I think what she does is she's not getting the emotion that she wants out of him, so she escalates it and then she hypens it to get him to show or to express something back to her. I think it's a pathological issue. I think there's a psychological issue behind this. And so I think that's the root of what we're looking at with Amber Heard.
I want to play another recording. This is Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. They're in his car or in one of their cars. He's getting ready to leave to go to the man cave. She doesn't want him to leave. Take a listen.
Then let's not do this anymore, because I'm really getting frustrated. And I'm really sick of this argument.
Stop, I'm sorry.
Okay, so let me go, and you go, and I'll speak to you in a couple hours. Okay? Okay?
Stop. Okay.
Why are you saying stop? May I go?
Please, it causes me so much stress when you leave, when you walk away from me with that. It's like you don't understand how much worse you're making this.
I can't believe this.
Please, you're making it worse for me.
Okay, I'm sorry for you.
Please, I'm only trying to tell you so that you know you're causing me immense stress right now when you walk away like that. There's no reason to be mad.
Then say goodbye. I haven't walked away. You're not saying goodbye. You won't let me leave. Let me leave.
Oh my God. Stop rushing me! Stop pushing me in the corner and then poking me with a stick and then saying, why are you saying the words you want me to say? Stop poking me! Stop rushing me! Stop throwing me against the wall and going, what? You don't like that wall? You don't like that wall? Stop pushing me!
Remember, I'm not pushing you. I'm not rushing you. I said, I need space. I don't want this conversation anymore right now. I need space, and I will take my space, whether you like it or not.
Janelle Weinstein, this is a theme for Johnny Depp and his team, that he's always trying to get away, trying to avoid conflict, and here we hear her not letting him go.
Yeah, again, Vinny, here we have evidence in real time of what's going on that the jury's listening to. And the hope is on redirect, when Amber Heard's attorney had the chance to rehabilitate her and really get an idea of, put the pieces together. I don't think that happened. And I think the jury's looking for that. They want to clarification. The job of Johnny Depp, attorney on cross-examination, obviously isn't to fill those gaps. It's Amber Heard's attorney. And that's the important part, that redirect. And we didn't see that today. Did we not see it because there's nothing to connect, that really what she's saying is not true? Or is it, some other reason, the lack of the ability to get that testimony from her? But it's really interesting to have so much evidence in real time, or close to the time, that the jury's hearing out of the party's mouth, not from other people, not 3 years later. It's very compelling, and it will be very interesting to see how the jury looks at this.
Yeah, Dr. Robbie Ludwig, this is not classic wife-beater dynamic that we are listening to. Unless I'm mistaken, do men who abuse women, do they leave the situation? Do they go away? Do they walk away? Is that the way it goes down, and I'm just mistaken here?
Well, what we just heard is a very different dynamic than what Amber Heard is presenting, how she was a victim in a very classic way, physically and emotionally, and she couldn't control Johnny Depp from hurting her. And then we hear in the tape, he is asking her, let's de-escalate what's going on. I need to leave. Let's regroup when we can both be more centered about it. That is not somebody classically who is an abuser. Somebody who's an abuser, they don't really have the wherewithal to tolerate emotions and to walk away, which is part of the problem. So again, a real head scratcher and very confusing. It doesn't mean abuse didn't happen, but this dynamic is very different than what Amber is presenting and has presented.
Susan, I'm going to hit you with something out of left field. And
Yep.
I've noticed it throughout that Amber Heard, a lot of cross-examination, kept taking a sip. Is there any significance to when you grab it, when you grab the beverage? Is it a crutch? Or is it just you're thirsty? You're testifying. You gotta wet your palate.
Well, there's a couple things that go on. One was that fear, right? Fear of flight, when they start to feel like they're under a lot of anxiety, they feel fearful, they'll go ahead and they'll grab the water and drink it. It's also a pacifier. So it's a grooming gesture. Let me attach my fingers to do something else to pass time away, to soothe the stress and the anxiety that I'm feeling. But I think you picked out a really good point, Vinny, and that is, when does she pick up the bottle? And when does she not? So that's a really good one. It's also really good to watch the jury when they put the pen to the paper and when they do it, who it is. That's how I look for jurors to see what they're actually thinking.
Absolutely. What a great job tonight, Dr. Robbie Ludwig, Janelle Weinstein, Susan Constantine. We will speak again. I know that for sure. So thanks so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. When we come back, Chanley Painter live from the courthouse. And I think they're lining up already to get into the courtroom tomorrow. We'll have the latest next.